Are you working on your author career but struggling to get that first book published? Does the goal of being an author seem too lofty? Or thoughts of having multiple books and making a full-time living are as fantastical as living in Cinderella's castle? Welcome to Discovered Wordsmiths, a podcast where aspiring authors can be heard. Join Stephen Schneider as he finds and talks to authors you may not know, but authors that have gotten their foot on the author career path. Hear what they've done to get there and where they want to go now. Settle back. It's time for a bit of inspiration and advice. Come listen to today's Discovered Wordsmith.
So let's move on, talk some author stuff. And before we get on our topic, let me ask you a couple other questions. So your books are about 10 years apart or so.
Mhm.
What did you learn doing the first one that you're doing different now, or you have done different with the second one?
Oh my God. When I read the first one now, it's so cringy. I mean, I think that just as you grow and mature, if you're continuing to write, hopefully you get better and that is the result, right? That you're like, oh my God. Um, but yeah, I mean, specific things. I think I was so histrionic in my first book. Granted, it was a memoir, but just I just say things that aren't interesting about myself. You know how younger people tend to think that they're more interesting than they are. I
Right,
don't know if
right.
you've
Yep.
experienced that, but you're like, oh God. Yeah, I read it and I think, oh my God, I use the word just so much. That's, I think every writer has their little idiosyncrasy that you're just like, why did I have to say just 1,000 times?
Just and that. My
That's
software
true.
will pick up that. And I'm like, oh,
Right.
I did not realize I used that 21 times in
Oh
this
my
chapter.
God,
It's
I
like,
know.
wow. Yeah.
I know.
So the software is good because it's helping me learn and get over some of those. I find them as I'm thinking them or typing them. I used to
Yeah.
start a lot of sentences with ing words.
Oh,
I'm like, wow, I didn't realize I did that so much.
right,
You
right.
help point
Yeah.
that out.
Or what's it called
And
when you, sorry, good.
no, when you what?
Or like switching tenses. Sometimes I pick up on that, or there's just all kinds of little things that I'm like, oh God, I can't believe I put that out into the world.
Right. And the thing is, when I was starting, I'm like, what is wrong with this sentence? It sounds fine.
Right.
And as I learned more, I wrote more, I started realizing the stumbling way the writing sounded, or it's
Mhm.
like, wow, that does sound bad. But as just a reader, you don't necessarily always notice it until it's so much. Uh,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. We're
yeah,
probably our own worst critics. Please, God,
very
let
much
that be
so.
true. But
Yeah.
or like
But then on,
expository writing, like why did I tell them that when I can show them that? Which
oh,
I
that's
learned
one
that a
of the
lot.
things.
Yeah.
Not that I'm an old writer, uh,
Mhm.
but I tell newer writers and kids. I work a lot with kids. I'm like, stop worrying about the craft. Start worrying about reading every book. Stop worrying about classes and courses and the next book, and get just write. Go write and write
Mhm.
and write and write. Because until you've written some stuff, you cannot tell how bad you are, how good you are, what needs
Yeah,
fixed or changed. You got to have the experience of the writing for everything else to make sense. And
for
that's
sure.
my new advice I keep telling people who have not written as long as I have. How's that?
Yeah, yeah. And I think reading a lot is really important too. I think the more you read, the better you get.
Yes, what I'm finding is as I've written more, as I've learned more about writing, as I'm reading, I'm picking up on good sentences and better sentences
Mhm.
and all that. So I'm learning just by the reading.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
yeah. There's so much to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says you're offline. You can still see me, right?
Oh, yeah, I can still see you.
All right, everything's okay. So
Yeah.
it should be okay. I love Zencaster because it records locally. So as long as we can still see and hear each other, it'll upload a file. We should be okay.
Okay, cool.
So,
I'm new to
um,
it. I've never used it, but I trust you.
yeah, yeah. All right. So Speaking of the software in that, do you have any special software you like to use?
Mm-mm. I still write in Pages, which I think is an
Okay.
outdated program. It's just an Apple program.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
any special services you like to use for any part of it, marketing or anything?
Um, well, this time I hired a publicist, so she's kind of taking that over, and I'm learning as I go too. Like that Kindle Unlimited that you just told me about is totally new, so yeah, nothing
With
comes to mind.
okay, no problem. And so you got a publicist, so you basically handed over the marketing for the most part. Is there anything
Mhm.
special you're doing besides podcasts?
Well, she's sort of like telling me what to do, and then I'm implementing it. So there's a lot of social media stuff, and I'm gonna actually like walk into bookstores like I did with my last one and be like, "Hey, here's a sample of my book. If you want to order it, this is how you get it." I'm gonna do boots on the ground kind of marketing.
Okay. Did you do that with the first one?
I did, yeah, yeah, and that, like I said, it was 10 years ago, so it was a lot different. I think it's a lot
Right.
easier to self-publish now, but
Okay. When you did walk into bookstores, did you get a lot of good responses or was it
I
a
did
tough
actually,
sell?
yeah. Yeah, I was in LA and, there's a lot of artists there, so I'm they were pretty receptive. Nobody took a lot of books, like, people would be like, "Yeah, we'll take 1 copy and we'll sell it
Right.
on consignment." So it was like, I didn't really make any money, but I was so excited to, like, have it out there that, I was thrilled nonetheless.
All right. Okay. Good. So let's talk a bit about how things have changed. And your first book, you wrote that you said about 10 years ago in 2013. And
Mhm.
I started writing a couple years after that. And even I've seen lots of changes. So, what are some of the changes you've seen that you're dealing with now compared to the first book? Besides, like you said, the marketing, boots on the ground, and you got a
Yeah.
publicist. What are changes have you seen?
Well, first and foremost, social media, obviously, that if it did exist then, it was just barely. Um, and I didn't know enough about it to utilize it. And also this Ingram Spark platform. Last time I just published with Create Space, which was under the Amazon umbrella. That probably
Right.
doesn't exist anymore.
Pre Kindle. Yeah.
Yeah,
KDP. Yeah.
and you could like call them on the phone and they would help you, like they'd pick up, but you got an actual person, they would help you with anything. um, I went into the Apple store to have them help me format it, like it was like early days. um, and now with Ingram Spark, it's available in the catalog, the same catalog that that Penguin and Random House and everybody else is in. So anybody can order your book just the same as they would from anyone else. So that's exciting.
Yes. And I think on Amazon, yeah, you got to compete against everybody, but with so many books appearing from the publishing houses and from independents, and people don't know, they don't notice. So they really do look at, oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, that looks like a
Mhm.
good cover. And oh, 300 other people have read it and left reviews. And
Yeah.
whether it's independent or not, that's, of course, there's always, oh, that's Patterson. I know that one. Oh, that's Stephen King. I know that one. You
Right,
know,
right, yeah.
but there's always new authors. So I think it's in that way, it's a good thing in helping
It's like you
compared
said,
to,
it's great and it's overwhelming. It's like if I were to be the buyer of a book, I'm probably, you know, leaning towards something that I've heard of, or, something that's got like the bestseller sticker on it, which but not everyone's like that, fortunately. They are going to look at covers, and I find that people that aren't writers, they don't even think about self-publishing versus a traditional publisher, so
right.
that's nice.
Yeah. And I think it's less so now. I think maybe when independent publishing 10, 12 years ago was really starting to come out, that it was a little different. Though your first book came out right on the big cusp when Kindle first started. So everybody was giving away free books. I remember my
Oh,
first
yeah,
Kindle, I'm
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, look at all the free books. But it's
Yeah.
because they wanted you to read more. So what ended
Yeah.
up happening for me is, oh, look, I've got 3,000 books on my Kindle that I'm never going to read.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh my
it
God.
didn't
Getting
help.
people to actually read now, like even, friends, it's like it's like squeezing blood from a stone sometimes.
Yes, I agree. Well, it's interesting because I do a workshop working with kids to help teach storytelling in video games.
Oh,
So
fun.
that's, using that in a different way because it's a job they could do, a job that's
Mhm.
out there, but
Totally.
it's so new, nobody really knows about it yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You could teach me that actually. There are a lot of jobs out there for that.
Yeah, it's getting bigger, and it's another
Yeah.
one you can do with your. It's different storytelling. It's different way of doing it. You don't have the
Mm,
same structure, and you don't get to make all the choices. So you have to make sure it structures around the game and the player choices.
right.
It's just totally different. It's interesting and fun.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
we were mentioning also on some of the things our craft has improved or gotten better. That's another thing I've seen change is all the software that's out there that will go through and do some editing on your
Oh, okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
Do you use any of that?
No, I don't. I work as a copywriter and have like taught writing and all of that as well. So I feel pretty good about doing it myself. But
Okay.
what sort of things does it do? Obviously, it catches spelling and grammar, but
Well, I use Pro Writing Aid because I liked all the things it checked and all that. But it will, like we mentioned, using just or that. It has an
uh,
overused words thing. So you hit it, and it'll say the average book for middle grade kids uses uh, this many that in a chapter. You
mhm.
used this many, so try and reduce
Oh,
it.
oh,
Try and
okay.
cut out the was. Try and cut
Mhm.
out just uh, and it will check overused words. It'll check thesaurus. Is there a better word you could use to
Oh,
change
that's
your
cool.
sentence?
Yeah.
It picks up passive voice. It checks
Oh,
sticky
yeah.
sentences. Like you use too many sticky words here, and it's making it cumbersome. Can you rewrite it?
Oh,
That
interesting.
doesn't. It gives you suggestions. It
Mhm.
doesn't always fix it the way it should be or the way you want. So
Mhm.
that's why I've learned a lot is, well, I purposefully put these words like this because of whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it picks up on it, but it's not what I want. And I skip it, go to the next one.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
oh, yeah, hey, you're right. I did start four sentences with he. He did
Right,
this
right.
and he said that, it's like, let me
Yeah,
change that.
yeah.
And it does help out a whole lot making the writing sound better.
Mhm.
So, but I don't even know if any of it integrates with Pages. I mean, I think you're only like out of 100 and some people, I think you're only the second or third person that said Pages is what they
It's
use
like
for
one
writing.
step up from just using a typewriter. I'm
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, I have had some people still doing it longhand. So I do
Oh,
get that.
wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay, they
at
win.
times. Well, I don't do it. I just talk to other people that do it.
Yeah, no, I just like it because it's familiar. Like, when I write, I'm, like, in a flow state, I'm not, like, stopping to think about like, I just, like, get it out, and then I go back and edit, and Pages is just what I've used for so long that I don't wanna, like, learn something new,
And
but
what do you do to format it? Now you have somebody you hired to do the
yeah,
formatting to get
like
the book
I
ready.
went on, Fiverr this time, um, and just had a typography person do it, and they do it for so cheap, like, it was, like, 25 bucks or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Fiverr is another one I talked to some people about. You got to be careful. That's
Yeah.
something else. You want to talk about differences? I don't think Fiverr really existed or was that
Oh,
big
definitely
10 years
didn't,
ago.
no. No.
And when it first started, it was looked down upon more. It was, oh, you can't get a good person working there. It's cheap, blah blah blah. Well,
Yeah.
now you got people with whole careers earning
Oh,
money on
yeah?
Fiverr.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's like
the
everything.
reputation
There's
has gone up.
so much of everything. It's,
Yes, yeah.
there's
But it's good too for the buyer because, well, here's my price range. I can try
Mhm.
and find the best person I can, and you
Yeah.
could try out people. Here $25 a person. Let me try you out. Okay, you're the one I'm going to go with. So
Yeah.
you're right. That's a benefit.
I did try to use them for cover design as well, and that didn't work out at all. I had to find someone actually that I worked with that I should have just done that to begin with. But for something easy like typography, that worked.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'm a PC person. I'm a programmer.
Oh, okay.
So PC's just always been my tool. But I bought a Mac Mini with Vellum just to do the formatting of my books. So
Oh, okay. Vellum is
I
a
got
see, I'm learning so much. I'm Vellum is
yeah.
for formatting books?
Yes, Vellum it's one of the older players in the market, but
Mm.
they've kept up and improved, and a lot of independent authors use Vellum for formatting because
Oh.
you can import your Word file, or
Mhm.
I'm sure Pages exports in some format that it'll accept.
Yeah.
It might do Pages just because it's on Mac. Come to think of
Mhm.
it, I'm not sure, but you import it and you basically say, uh, "I want it to be 5 by 8 or 6 by 9 size or
Yeah.
whatever size you want," and you can choose couple different styles, and then it just formats it all in there, and you
There's
got your
something
book.
on my computer that does that too. I don't know what the name of it is, but I have that too. And if you there's different styles of like if you want to do like a graphic novel, little format for that. I do have
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't know what it's
Works
called.
great.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So, uh, before we get done here, can you think of anything else you wanted to bring up that, oh, I've noticed this has changed in the last 10 years, or this is different than when I did the first one?
Mm, people probably read less, I think, again because of social media.
Yeah.
Short attention
Unfortunately.
spans. Yeah. I'm hoping that the pendulum is going to swing the other way, and eventually we'll just want to get back to the basics. But
Right.
yeah, that's
Now, let me
definitely.
ask you, I was thinking about this. You mentioned you were in TV. Have you ever thought of writing TV episodes or scripts or anything like
Oh,
that?
that's what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I was a
So, did you
writer's
write
room.
anything that we would know?
Nothing that I'm proud of. Nothing I need to
Okay.
brag about.
What?
I did option my first screenplay this past year, so hopefully that's going to be being made in the near future.
Nice.
That's a feature film, yeah, so that's exciting.
Beautiful.
I went to
So,
film
well,
school in 2016. That
okay.
also for writing, so that also helped me become a better writer across the board, I think.
Cool. Well, I'll look for Rachel Biggs. Oh, hey, I know that person.
Yeah. Again, it'll be all over my social media. You don't have to worry about looking for anything.
Right. Everybody, look at this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be like that too. Any money I'd make off of the script for a screenwriting, I'd spend to rent out a theater, and invite everybody I knew just
Yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Uh,
That's all
All
right. I
right.
think that
So,
like sorry, go ahead.
no, no, please finish.
Oh, I think that the arts, be it music or painting or writing, is a calling and a purpose that sort of you just have to get it out there, and whether it makes money or not. I mean, it's awesome if it makes money, but you've done your job if you get it out there. So, in reference to renting a theater and having everybody come and see it, that's you're doing what you came to do.
Right. Well, that's. So, Rachel, before we go, do you have any last minute advice that you would give to new authors?
Go deeper. I think if you are writing something and it's not resonating with people, or you're smart enough to know that it's not very good, go deeper. If you're describing a wall, tell me every single thing about that wall and keep talking about it. Like one of the exercises that I would have when I'm teaching writing is I haven't done that for a long time, but um, describe brushing your teeth, and it has to be like 3 pages, and go into every detail that's so boring, because in that you can edit something that's actually interesting. You're going to find something that's you wouldn't have found otherwise.
It pushes you, and you have to think about it in different ways.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I do a similar thing where I will take mostly Stephen King just because I enjoy reading Stephen King, but I'll
he's
just
very
find a couple random paragraphs and then I'll force myself to rewrite it in different ways, in different styles or different feels, or, you know, making it very like Lee Child, where it's very short, succinct sentences and,
right.
you know, cut out a lot of the detail, or then make it more like something from the Victorian area where it's very flashy and flourishy. And for me, that, you know, push yourself to try different things, do different things. And it's easier with other people's stuff than your own. So
Mm,
rewriting it like that is a lot
yeah,
easier for me.
it evokes such different feelings, right? When you read like a short sentence versus a long flowery one, like you're going to feel a
Yeah,
totally different way as a reader. So
right.
yeah, if you want to
Absolutely.
manipulate.
Yeah. Great. All right. Well, Rachel, I wish you luck on your book coming out, or the pre-orders right before Christmas and coming out the first. So we'll get this up. I'll let you know. And I hope things go well for you.
Thank you so much. It was great to meet you.
It was great to talk to you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, if you enjoyed this episode of Discovered Wordsmiths, please support the author. Go to their website, go to Amazon, look them up, get the book. And if you click on the link that I have in the show notes, you'll also help support the podcast so I can keep the hosting and all the software I use and keep it running to help more authors. When I am recording this, we've got over 100 episodes, lots of authors. Go to the website, discoveredwordsmiths.com. Check it out. There's a lot of great authors, probably in some genre that you love. See what they have. Check out their books. That's what the point of the podcast is for. So people can discover new authors, find some new books they love, support the authors so they can continue writing. So please support them. And if you do like the podcast, if you've been thinking of podcasting or you're a writer, I've got some links also at the website. Click on those if you're interested in any of the software or services that I talk about. Everything that I have there is something I use, so I've got an affiliate link. Again, it's a little bit, if everyone clicked on those, if they were going to get it anyway, it helps keep the podcast going. So let's all help each other out and discover more authors to read.
Thank you for listening to Discovered Wordsmiths. Come back next week and listen to another author discuss the road they've traveled, and maybe, sometime in the near future, it might be you.